On the news, Tinubu forwards tax reform bills to National Assembly. Rivers State political crisis heightens over conduct of local government elections. And reps to probe Team Nigeria's poor performance at 2024 Olympics. Welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Atikun. The Nigerian Senate has received a request from President Bola Tinubu's communications seeking consideration and passage of the proposed fiscal policy and tax reform bill to align with ongoing financial reforms of the government and enhance efficiency in tax compliance. The House of Representatives also received 4 bills forwarded by the President. They include the Nigeria Tax Bill, the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Establishments Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishments Bill. The move is in furtherance of the President's announcement during his speech on Tuesday, October 1, when he said some economic stabilization bills will be transmitted to the National Assembly. According to Tinubu, the bills, once passed, will enhance Nigeria's business environment, stimulate investment, and reduce the tax burden on businesses and workers in the country.
The proposed tax bills present substantial benefits that align with my government's objectives and fiscal reform and economic growth by enhancing taxpayer compliance, strengthening our fiscal institutions, and fostering a more effective and transparent fiscal regime. In this way, I'm confident that these bills, once passed into law, will encourage investment, boost consumer spending, and stimulate the economy. While I trust that the House of Representatives will, in their usual expeditious manner, consider and enact these bills into law, please accept, Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest considerations and regards.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has called on President Bola Tinubu to address the alleged breach of law in the appointment of the board of Northwest Development Commission. This followed the resolution on a motion of urgent public importance by a member representing Zamfara State, Honorable Isa Agga, at plenary on Wednesday, which was seconded by his counterpart representing Ogun State, Honorable Ayokunle Isiaka. Presenting the motion, Anka says there is a clear infraction in the appointment of the managing director because the Act specifies the position is to be occupied in alphabetical order, saying that starting by Jigawa, followed by Kaduna, not Kano State.
The House should observe that infraction in managing director's appointment. The Act requires that the position of managing director should rotate in alphabetical order, starting with Jigawa, followed by Kaduna State, and not Kano State. The appointment of Professor Abdullahi Shehu Ma'aji from Kano State as MD contravenes this provision. At the end, MD should have been appointed from Kaduna. Omission of the security representatives. The Act requires that representatives from the Nigerian Army and the Nigerian Police Force be appointed to the board. These appointments have not been made, leaving a significant gap in security oversight. Omission of representatives from federal ministries. The Act also mandates the inclusion of representatives from the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, and Ministry of Works to ensure coordinated efforts between the Commission and the key federal ministries. These appointments have not also been made. The House resolved to call on His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to review and rectify appointment to the NWDC Governing Board, ensuring that each state in the Northwest region is represented by only one individual, as mandated by the Act, and remove any instances of overrepresentation.
With just 2 days to the scheduled October 5, 2024 local government elections in Rivers, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has expressed readiness to conduct what he says will be the freest, fairest and most credible election in the history of the state. The Rivers Assembly Speaker, led by Victor Okojumbo, while speaking during plenary on Thursday, said the move aligns with the position of the executive arm of government and Governor Fubara in ensuring that a proper constitution of duly elected political leadership at the local government level is a reality in the state. He added that the Assembly has also approved the 2025-2027 medium-term expenditure framework sent to it by Fubara. However, the Martin Amewule-led Rivers State House of Assembly has passed a resolution calling for the suspension of the local government election, citing a federal high court Abuja judgment. This is after members of the Rivers State chapter of the People's Democratic Party on Thursday staged a protest march to the Department of State Security Office and the Government House, both in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, calling for a stop to the elections. The controversy is heightened following the conflicting court orders from Port Harcourt High Court, presided over by Justice IPC Igwe, and the Justice Peter Lifu-led Federal High Court, Abuja, creating confusion on whether Saturday's poll will hold as scheduled or not. I'm now joined by political affairs analyst Lester Wilcox to discuss the lingering political crisis in Rivers State. Thank you for your time, sir. Now, it is uncertain if the Rivers local government elections will hold, even given the conflicting positions of both factions of the State House of Assembly. While the Okojumbo-led faction says it will conduct the election, the Martin Amewule faction has called for a suspension of the polls. Now, what are your thoughts on this development?
Well, thank you for having me. You already said I'm a public affairs analyst. You didn't say I'm a Rivers man, so I'm involved. Look, all things being equal, I think the local government election scheduled for Saturday will hold because it is a constitutional issue. It is not an issue that is within the whims and caprices of any court to determine if it should hold or not. There are judgments to the fact that no court can stop an election from holding. So any court that is issuing any contrary instruction order, any order to that effect, is another nullity because the Supreme Court has, and the constitution is clear about elections. And now the question you ask yourself is, why are there people who do not want election to be held in Rivers State? Don't forget, the tenure of the last local government elected officials expired some 3 months ago. And since then, the local government of Rivers State has been run by a caretaker committee, and which is an aberration according to the Supreme Court. And these same people were those that were saying that the local government should be run by democratically elected government. And now they are the same people that are going to court to say it should not be held. So that casts aspersion on the integrity and the character of people, of actors who have in Rivers State today. Because no sane men will look at what's happening and ask the question, what is really their problem? And don't forget, PDP is not taking part of that, is not partaking from that election. So on what grounds is PDP asking for suspension? We have a well-constituted, recognized Rivers House Assembly led by Honorable Victor Okojumbo. As it is today, that is the House Assembly of Rivers State. Now, we have another group of people that call themselves Committee of Friends that are meeting, purporting to be members of the Rivers House Assembly. Their matter is still before the court of law as to if they are really legitimate member or not. So for them to sit and to pass a worthless resolution saying an election that has gotten to its crescendo should be stopped, on what grounds? So Rivers State cannot be an exception. Every state that are run by a caretaker committee have conducted elections to the local government. Last week, Anambra conducted theirs. Other states have been conducting so as to beat the deadline given by the federal government to the fact that based on the Supreme Court judgment, every state, every local government in the country should be run by democratically elected officials. So what is
to
the
my
grounds
second
upon
question.
which
That brings me to my
that they
second
are
question. The courts
asking
are also
for a
involved
stop?
in the whole controversy. I mean, the Rivers State High Court says no other court can stop the conduct of the LG elections against the order by the Abuja High Court restraining the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission from conducting the election. As a Rivers statesman, as you earlier mentioned, how do you think this will pan out eventually?
Well, the Rivers State High Court and the Federal High Court in Abuja is a court of coordinate jurisdiction. So where such conflicting judgment comes from a court of coordinate jurisdiction, I think the litigant or the persons have a right to choose whichever that suits him. And then for an appellate court, a higher court, to determine. So if the Rivers State High Court has given an order that election should go on, and then an Abuja High Court. Now, you see, sometimes we should start looking at our country and know the character of persons that are parade themselves to become leaders in the country. You left the Rivers State High Court. Now, all these problems have been going on, and all the conflicting judgments about Rivers State are all issued in Abuja. Now, even if you want to go to the Federal High Court, there is a Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. But how come that the PDP and the Nyesom Wike camp is always taking the matters of Rivers State to a Federal High Court in Abuja? Now, even for, yes, I understand by law, Federal High Court is one and jurisdiction is everywhere. But which is convenient? There is a court, there's a Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. So even if you want to vent your anger in the Federal High Court, why not in Port Harcourt? How come that every case about Rivers State that is being instituted by the Wike camp or the Matamehule camp is not instituted in Rivers State, but in Abuja? So you go to Abuja, obtain a midnight injunction, and look at this injunction. It's unfortunately that we have come to a point in this country where we are daily destroying our institutions. Now they've destroyed so many things. Now it is the court. And the court in Abuja, the Federal High Court in Abuja, has allowed themselves to be ridiculed. How can you, on every issue, is it not time for the Chief Judge of Nigeria or the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to give an order that to give an order to the effect that this nonsense should stop? How come we allow ourselves to be traumatized by the institutions that are supposed to protect us? And these things are happening and it's happening and continuously happening. The moment the Wike camp wants any kangaroo judgment, they run to Abuja. There is a Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. There is a Rivers State High Court, well constituted. So you can see that these are men of ignoble character, trying to create confusion in the country and destroying our legal system. And the lawyers and the judges are watching and smiling that a few set of individuals is destroying the only fabric of the foundation of our society, which is the rule of law.
It's a sad situation. Well, we'll see what happens in the coming days.
No court can stop elections. Therefore, the Rivers State election will go on Saturday, and it will go on successfully.
Well, we'll see what happens in the coming days. Political affairs analyst Lester Wilcox, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Moving on, a coalition of lawyers, political parties and civil society organizations are planning a march to the National Judicial Council to demand dismissal of the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Shoho, and Justices Peter Lifu and James Omotosho. The coalition, known as the Joint Action for Democracy, alleges that these judges have issued questionable ex parte judgments favoring groups loyal to Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, undermining judicial integrity. Speaking at a press conference on Wednesday, the national coordinator of the coalition, Peter Ame, raised concerns about Justice Soho's use of special judges to deliver controversial rulings, thereby calling for an immediate halt to any assignment involving Rivers State matters until these allegations are investigated.
Citizens have complained about the activities of some judges of the Federal High Court, Abuja. These judges have allegedly been involved in partisan activities while on the bench. They have been known to use their discretion to issue ex parte orders in place of court judgment. Their activities have come to our attention, and it is high time they are stopped. These judges have taken a personal interest in Rivers State, its House of Assembly, political parties, local government elections, and everything else associated with the state. We hereby call upon the National Judicial Council, NJC, to take immediate action by suspending John Toso, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, along with Justice Peter Lifu, Emeka Nwete, and Judge Omotocho. These judges' actions and decisions have raised serious questions about the impartiality and commitment to justice. The NJC should not keep quiet and wait for petition when they have been hearing the cries of different groups, citizens about what is happening in the Federal High Court. Furthermore, we urge the NJC to order a forensic audit of over 32 cases that the Justice Toso has explicitly assigned to this pro-wicked justice regarding Rivers State issues. The assignment of these cases raises concern about manifest bias and conflict of interest that could undermine public confidence in the judicial system.
The trial of the immediate past governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, continued on Tuesday with the acting governor of the Apex Bank, Folashodun Shonubi, telling the court that the Naira redesign policy did not follow standard procedure. Shonubi, who was also the acting governor of the CBN from June 9 to September 15, 2023, said Emefiele admitted to intrigues and politics around the 2022 redesign policy. The witness, who was also the former deputy governor of operations of the Apex Bank, said the redesigned Naira notes produced by the CBN under Emefiele were not the same as those approved by former President Muhammadu Buhari. Shonubi confirmed the memo presented to the president for the redesign was solely prepared by Emefiele. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is prosecuting Emefiele on a 4-count charge bordering on illegal acts that caused public outcry. It's time for a short break, but coming up on News Now, Israel bans UN Secretary General Guterres from entering country. Stay with us for details. We'll return shortly.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the go-to app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Nigerian Senate has received a request from President Bola Tinubu seeking consideration and passage of the proposed fiscal policy and tax reform bill to align with ongoing financial reforms of the government and enhance efficiency in tax compliance. The House of Representatives also received 4 bills forwarded by the President. They include the Nigeria Tax Bill, the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. According to the President, the bills, once passed, will enhance Nigeria's business environment, stimulate investment, and reduce the tax burden on businesses and workers in the country. We also informed you that with just 2 days to the scheduled October 5, 2024 local government election in Rivers, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has expressed readiness to conduct what he says will be the freest, fairest and most credible election in the history of the state. However, the Martin Amewule-led Rivers State House of Assembly has passed a resolution calling for the suspension of the local government election, citing a Federal High Court Abuja judgment. The controversy is heightened following the conflicting court orders from Port Harcourt High Court presided over by Justice IPC Igwe and the Justice Peter Lifu-led Federal High Court Abuja, creating confusion on whether Saturday's poll will hold as scheduled or not. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, so for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Let's switch to business news. Okweyemi Owosheni has the latest. What's going on, Okwe?
Well, petroleum marketers have raised an alarm that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited portal, used for the purchase of premium motor spirit, also called petrol, has been shut down against dealers, making it impossible to apply for the commodity. The spokesperson of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Chinedu Ukadike, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday. According to him, marketers have more than 2,000 pending tickets for the purchase of 45,000 liters of petrol, hinting that the situation may lead to another round of fuel scarcity nationwide. Reacting to the development, the spokesperson of NNPCL, Olufemi Shoneye, admitted that the state-owned firm has a significant backlog to address, and the portal closure was intended to prevent the company from holding marketers' funds for an extended period. Shoneye, however, assured that the portal would soon be reopened. Still in the world of business growth in Saudi Arabia's non-oil sector has accelerated to a 4-month high in September, as strong demand supported faster growth in new orders. The seasonal adjusted Riyadh Bank Saudi Arabia Purchasing Managers Index rose to 56.3 points from 54.8 points in August, further away from the 50.0 level, which signifies growth. Experts predict strong growth in the Saudi non-oil economy to continue from 2025 to 2027, supported by economic diversification programs and major projects linked to the Kingdom's Vision 2030. We'll take a short break now and be back with stock market reports. Welcome back. Nigeria's equities market maintained a bearish trade on the second day of trading in the month of October, with a decline of 1.19%. The market capitalization stood at 55.7 trillion naira. Now, in the world of stocks, Dangote Cement took a tumble, landing at the bottom of the leaderboard with a 10% drop, closing the day at 478 naira 80 kobo per share. Now, by the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we see a total of traders were really busy with a whopping 268 million shares swapped in 8,565 deals, with a grand total of 6,758 billion naira. Well, global stocks also took a dip on Thursday, feeling the pressure from sluggish trading in US and major equity markets. The bears were out in full force, leaving the UK FTSE and the US Dow Jones struggling. Meanwhile, oil prices also continue to climb amid rising geopolitical tensions from the Middle East conflict. Japan's Nikkei, however, decided to take a mode, bouncing back with a 2% gain after newly elected Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba announced it was on the right time to raise interest rates following a meeting with Central Bank Governor Kazuo Ueda. As you can see from the screen behind me, now in the foreign exchange market, the Naira dipped further, trading at 1,680 Naira against the US dollar on the black market. The pound is valued at 2,270 Naira and the euro stands at 1,870 Naira on the black market. That's your update on the business and stock market. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okwayemi. On the foreign scene, Israel's foreign minister has barred the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres from entering the country after declaring him a persona non grata. Earlier, Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz accused Guterres of failing to unequivocally condemn Iran's missile attack. Before now, Israel has persistently complained over the UN's approach throughout its year-long war in Gaza. Warning to his theme, the official accused the UN chief of giving his backing to terrorists, rapists and murderers, branding him a stain on the history of the UN. On sport, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution to probe the abysmal performance of Team Nigeria at the Paris 2024 Olympics to forestall future occurrences. During Thursday's session, lawmakers expressed concern that none of the 82 athletes representing the country returned with a medal. They criticized the significant budget of over 12 billion naira allocated for the event, which resulted in no tangible success. The House also urged President Bola Tinubu to establish a commission of inquiry on sports arbitration in Nigeria.
The House is worried that the 2024 Paris Olympics Games came to a close on Sunday, 11th August 2024, with Team Nigeria returning disgracefully without a single medal, a mimicry of the woeful outing of 12 years ago in the London 2012 Olympics, in spite of the enormous investment and preparation for the actual event. Worried further that again in Paris 2024 Olympics, like Helsinki in 1952, Melbourne in 1956, Rome in 1960, Mexico in 1968, Seoul in 1988, and London 2012, Nigeria failed to win a single medal. At the Paris Olympics, 10,714 athletes from 216 countries competed, with 1,436 medals awarded. 84 countries won at least a bronze, and every country with a population of about 200 million won at least one medal, except Nigeria.
Still on sports, Nigeria's top tennis player Quadri Aruna and world #1 Wang Chuqing have been eliminated from the men's singles at China Smash 2024 after losing their respective round of 32 games. Aruna, who ranks 19th in the world, fell 3-1 to Swedish Anton Karlberg, who occupies 5 rungs lower than the Nigerian in the rankings. Another result saw world #1 Chuqing's hopes of completing a sweep of this season's WTT Grand Smash singles titles dashed after he succumbed to a shock round of 32 exit at the hands of Anders Lind with a 3-1 loss. That's all on news now. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.